that's true. It's not a lie to say I don't know exactly what it is I want to do. Some people are blessed enough that they have that motivation. From the time that they're young, they know what it is that they want to do, and then they've got that drive to go out and go grab it by the horns and make their goals happen and make their dreams happen. And for those people, I'm truly jealous. I wish that's something that I had, but I don't, and that's okay. I've been reassured that the average North American changes their career, not just their job, where it is that they work, but changes their career anywhere from 4 to 8 times. And so it's sort of encouraging. I've done a couple of different things that have nothing to do with each other, and some of them I've got an interest in and continue to do as a hobby, and other things hope to never do another day in my life. And finding out what works for you is really good and really important. And I hope that you all go out and you do that. Find what you do like and what you don't like, and try new things. Because I've heard stories of people who, when they graduate high school and they go and they find a job, and then they just do that because it becomes a good job. It's stable and secure, and they've got benefits for their family and all that stuff. And those are all good things. Those are good things to have. But they hate their job. They wake up every morning loathing the fact that they have to go into this place to go get a paycheck to support their family and whatnot. And they spend 20, 40, 50, 60, 80 years doing something that they hate, and genuinely hate, and it makes them bitter, and hard. And being that way, feeling so negatively towards what it is that you do every day, towards something that you're devoting 40 plus hours of your week to every week, that's a lot of time to spend being negative. And it's not something I want. I've done that before. I've stayed in a good job because it was a good job. It wasn't necessarily something I enjoyed. There was good days and bad days, and honestly, it was my coworkers that kept me there. I really, really loved those guys that I got to connect with, and them and seeing the customers that I worked with left happy with a smile on their face. Those were the days that made it worth it. But for me, there was more bad days than good ones, and so I decided, enough's enough. And technically, I got fired. I like to think I let myself get fired. I didn't quit. I didn't quit yet. I was planning on quitting a couple of months down the road, but Lord worked out something else for me, and I'm grateful for it. Got me out of there sooner, and still got what I was wanting out of it. So back to the lyrics of that song. Again, it's called "Do Something" by Matthew West, and I'm just going to read these first 3 stanzas I've got here in front of me. So it goes like this. I woke up this morning. I saw a world full of trouble now. Thought, how'd we ever get so far down? And how's it ever going to turn around? So I turned my eyes to heaven. I thought, God, why don't you do something? Well, I just couldn't bear the thought of people living in poverty, children sold into slavery. The thought disgusted me. So I shook my fist at heaven. I said, God, why don't you do something? And he said, I did. Yeah, I created you. Now listen. If not us, then who? It's not me, it's you. Right now, it's time for us to do something. Yeah, if not now, then when? When will we see an end to all this pain? Oh, it's not enough to do nothing. It's time for us to do something. I'm so tired of talking about how we're God's hands and feet, but it's easier to say than to live like Him. Now, to me, that it speaks a lot because I know I've done it. I've been there. You see a homeless man, you hear of a bad situation for a family, whether it be a sick child or somebody who's lost their job and now they're out on the streets, or whatever it may be. We've all seen it. We've all seen it before. And probably did something to deserve it. That's a struggle that I have with seeing some homeless people. That's a discussion I had with a friend of mine a couple of months back, and you know, they're really empathetic towards the homeless, and made some kind of comment about you know, why do you hate the homeless? To me, why do I hate the homeless? I don't hate the homeless, but there's no reason for them to be like that. You know, everybody's got a chance, and anybody who's willing to work hard enough and you know, maybe do something that they don't like, you know, working that good job that they don't enjoy for enough time to be able to get themselves out of a situation, it's possible. I do believe in the American dream. I'm not living it yet, or maybe I am, I don't know. But it is possible. Anybody can do anything that they want to if they're willing to hunker down and work hard enough. Now, with that said, that's when I'm kind of in the bad season of my life. When I'm in the good season, you know, like I'm blessed to be right now, I say, well, you know, you know hardship. I know hardship. I was raised in a large family to essentially a single mother. And, you know, I've been there. I've been at the point of having our power shut off or having our water shut off because we just couldn't make ends meet. And it's not because we weren't working hard enough or striving hard enough to make that happen. It wasn't happening. You know, things weren't going our way. And you know, thank God that there was people out there who were willing to help out. You know, give us an opportunity to do something, to, you know, get ourselves back on our feet. And so in this good season of my life, and hearing those lyrics of, you know, us shaking our fists at heaven and saying, God, why don't you do something? He said, well, I did. You know, I created you. And, you know, in the Bible, I don't know where, but it says that we're his hands and his feet. We're the ones here on this earth to do his work. You know, it's through us, through everybody, that things get done. And so hearing that, it really changes my perspective on a lot of things. You know, it makes me go from thinking, oh, you know, poor me, why me, why are these bad things happening to me, to more of a, well, it's not you doing it. I made the conscious choice to not be motivated to go back to school, and I haven't gone back to school until now. I'm looking at doing it hopefully this summer, but we'll see what happens. You know, that's a choice I made, and choosing not to do a couple other things that I should have been doing. That's my choice, you know, and it's not God's fault for making me do that. And that, unfortunately, is a misconception that I think a lot of people have, and, you know, especially non-Christians. They're like, well, if your God's so great and if he can make anything happen. I always think of the line from Bruce Almighty, and he's like, oh, well, you could fix the world in 5 minutes if you wanted to. And, you know, he could, but he also gives us free will. And that's where a lot of the unfortunate things in this life come from, is our free will to choose. You know, like me choosing not to go back to school. I'm like, oh, well, poor me, I'm not going to school. I chose not to go to school. And then I'm like, oh, well, I'm not where I want to be in my life because I didn't go to school, and I don't have the house that I want, or I don't live in the place that I want, or I don't have the job or the relationship or the, you know, whatever it may be. It's not because of something that God did or didn't do. It's because of a choice that he gave me the free will to make, and I chose. You know, so it would be easy to, you know, cop out and say, oh God, this is your fault. You know, it's your fault that I'm here. No, that's not how it works. I forget if it was at the youth group one of the youth groups I attended at the Lebanon Calvary Chapel back in high school, if it was Troy or Tommy that came up with it, or if it was my best friend Brian, who said, talking to my advisor about me graduating, or going back to school so I can graduate. They're not going to be like, oh well, this Hunter Burge kid. It's been a while since I've seen him. Why don't I give him a call? And some people might do that, but in a college setting where they deal with thousands of students every year, it's not worth their time. So going forward, I hope that this works out. Now, in a way that I hope to take that, and hearing the song this morning, it's us who are out there to do the good things, to do the good works, to make life happen. It's something that I've been struggling with lately is being present, being able to be in a moment and actually feel present. I've gone through the motions and showed up, but I wasn't there. I wasn't present. And so that's something that I'm really working on. And in that second stanza of "If not us, then who? And if not me, then you." Right now, it's time for us to do something. It struck a chord. It's like it's my responsibility to show up and to be present. It's not anybody else's job to do that. It's not your significant others. It's not your mom. It's not your dad. It's not your sibling, your best friend, your whatever. It's not their job to make sure that you are actually there, that you're focused on what you're doing, and that you're allowing yourself to be in the moment. Being in the moment is something I've struggled with for a long time. I remember the first girl I dated seriously back in high school. She said, I forget if it was I was always worried about the past or always worried about the future. The future one makes more sense. I know as an individual, I like to be in control, and giving up that control or acknowledging that I don't have that control is really difficult for me. And I was like, okay, I could see that. I mean, she was a pretty carefree, really openly loving person, and she was always seemed like she got a lot of joy out of life, and that was something that I was pretty envious of. Is I felt this burden of, oh, I've got to do these things for my future, and I need to figure out what I'm going to do for school and where I'm going to live and what job I'm going to do, and what on and on and on and on. Whereas she seemed really carefree. It seemed like it didn't matter to her, and that's not how it was. That's just kind of how I interpreted it. But she was very in the moment. She was able to be present. To honestly have an open heart and an open ear for the life that was happening around her. And that's something that I want. what happened.